afford or can have an open door policy like this. US has given us an opportunity to study. US has given us an opportunity to come and settle. US has given an opportunity to improve our economic strength. US has done so much for us. US has accepted physicians in 1960s and 50s to come and take the examinations and practice here. Even now, today, in this century, in 2010, US does that.
Right.
Right? So it's never a new trend. And also, when I say that US gives an opportunity, I also want to commend the foreign physicians. You know, in the United States, there are a lot of places which are underserved, like West Virginia, Utah, even some parts of New Jersey. There are so many places. United States would ask us to come. United States would ask us to take the examination. United States would ask us to practice. United States would give us green card. United States would give us immigration. If you serve in this area for X amount of years, Air Force gives us the opportunity to come and serve. Air Force would pay our tuition fees, would pay for our books, pay our loans back. This can happen only in United States. You know, I'm very grateful to United States for that. And also, coming back to the trends, one more question. There are many places in this country, the urban population, urban areas, where I did my residency, Howard University Hospital in Washington, D.C. It's a totally African-American, lower socioeconomic area, some parts, and where minority population is there, where there is drugs, AIDS, gunshots, trauma, and just like any other city, Houston, Dallas, New York City, or any other places. Many of the all the physicians or residents, they want to go into nicer areas and do their residencies and practice, right? But who is practicing? Who is doing the residencies? Where do we get the residency spots, and where do we serve? I did my residency in Howard University Hospital, which is there were 11 residents in my program. All 11 residents were foreign graduates. Why wouldn't an American graduate go there? Because of the atmosphere, and because of the they have many opportunities elsewhere which are nicer areas to do that. So the foreign physicians have come to Harlem, New York, Washington D.C., Houston, Dallas, Chicago areas where minority population is there, where healthcare is needed. US wants us to come there. US gives us an opportunity, so that US offers us immigration if we do serve there. So trend has always been there, trend will be there, especially with the universal healthcare system. It is we have to do that. And I'm telling you, my friends, my seniors, my colleagues, my father's friends, back from 1950s, foreign graduates have come into this country, have served the population of United States. It's a record. And people have to know that. And we are still doing that.
Oh, thank you for answering that. Now, is US administering the licensing exam for these physicians and allowing them to meet their healthcare goals?
Yes, of course. Nobody can practice in United States. You know what happened was United States there are thousands of medical schools in the world, right? There are thousands in Asia, Africa, Middle East, Europe, all over the place. There are thousands of medical schools. Now, US has an open door policy. It is non-discriminatory. US is the only country which does not discriminate against anybody. So anybody can come. But that doesn't mean that US doesn't have that many personnel, many resources to go around thousands of colleges to monitor the quality of care, the quality of medical education. So what they did was they introduced United States Medical Licensing Examination Boards. Step 1, which tests the basic fundamental knowledge. Step 2, which tests the clinical knowledge. CS, clinical skills examination. How do you interact with the patient? How do you communicate with the patient? And the United States Medical Final Licensing Examination, Step 3. It's a vigorous process. You can go to any school in the world, no matter what type of school it is. You cannot come back and practice here unless you pass these examinations. It's a tough examination. It's a standard examination. It's the world's standard examination. Nobody can pass this examination without having the knowledge. So US made a thing that we cannot go and monitor all the schools. So we will allow them to take the examinations, licensing examinations, in this country, United States, only if the school is accredited by that home country. For example, Windsor is accredited by St. Kitts.
Right.
Now, many other schools which are accredited by their home countries, which are approved by the government, which are listed in the World Health Organization's Directory of Medical School, those physicians only, US allows them to take the licensing examination. It's a very good system.
Okay. I have read an article in St. Petersburg Time recently in which a reference has been made about the price students are paying to realize their dream. What is your comment on this?
It's a very difficult question to answer. When you say the price, right? Everybody has to pay a price. Without price, how would the school establish? How would we pay the faculty? How do we do the research? How would we meet the accreditation standards? And we don't have any federal funding. We don't have any other funding from any banks. Right? Isn't the price being paid in United States to go to medical school? My nephew goes to medical school. He already has a 300,000 student loan. He doesn't even have a job yet. He's trying to go into job now. And what price are you talking about? The price you have to pay. Any school, any private school, anywhere you go, you have to pay a price to go to learn, because the school has to pay the faculty, school has to maintain, right? So that has. I got your point.
It's a very nebulous question,
Yes.
so we can just move
Yeah.
on from that. Is the United States regulating offshore medical schools?
Yes, US is regulating offshore medical schools. For example, the Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates, right? The role of the ECFMG, which is which conducts the verification of medical education. You cannot take the licensing examinations in this country without the sponsorship of the Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. That's called ECFMG. ECFMG verifies the medical education of the medical school, writes to the deans of the schools, writes to the administrations of schools, checks the student status, checks the accreditation status, checks the World Health Organization listing of the directory schools, checks with the governments of those countries whether the school is approved or not. Yes, they do. They monitor us.
Okay. Now, is it true that Windsor, unlike Ross and St. George's of Caribbean Islands, is not eligible for direct federal aid?
You mean federal loans from
Loans,
the
absolutely, right.
Department of Education, United States?
Right. For this.
So your question was, are we eligible? We are not eligible. Is that what you
Yes.
asked?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question, Venu. When you want a credit card, right? Let's say you want an American Express credit card, right? How would you know whether you are eligible to get the credit card or not? You have to apply, right?
Yeah,
You put an application, they do a credit check, and they will give you an answer whether you are eligible or not,
Correct.
right? We never applied to federal Stafford loans. Windsor University has never applied to the United States federal Stafford loans. So how can you say that we are not eligible? We do not want to apply to federal Stafford loans unless and until we prove ourselves. We want to complete our second and third phase of construction. We want to improve our USMLE pass rates. We want to meet the LCME standards. It's a challenge for us. Then we would go and apply to the United States Department of Education federal loans. Till now, we did not depend on any of the student funding from the federal loans. Windsor University has never received even $1 from the federal funding from United States. And we have provided medical education to hundreds of US citizens, but we have not collected even a single dollar from United States federal funding. Today, our US citizens are practicing in United States, providing health care for their citizens, United States citizens, but US has never contributed even a single dollar towards their medical education. So it's wrong to say that we are not eligible. We have never applied.
Okay. Now, if a college is bypassing federal requirements and lender requirements, is your institution by any way jeopardizing the quality of standards?
What does the federal funding has to do with the standards? There are thousands of medical schools in the world, Asia, Africa. There are hundreds of schools. Graduates from those schools come and practice here, and hundreds of schools are not able to maintain the standards because they don't participate in the federal funding. There are thousands of schools. US federal funding is not there to